Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt Lane and welcome back to another episode of Bloodborne Bosses. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the One Reborn. Definitely one of the more gory, gross looking bosses of the game. As with most bosses in the Souls series, you can hear completely different stories depending on who you're talking to, the build they had, the weapon they use, all these different factors that can completely change how a boss actually feels and how hard it is for them. For me, this boss used to actually be a bit of a handful. However, recently, the past few times, I've just completely annihilated him. So there might be a bit of a random factor to this boss. I'm not entirely sure. I can't really prove that 100%, but it just feels like sometimes he's more difficult than other times. Let's go ahead and talk about some preparation for this fight. There's really only two things you need to know. That's either fire or bolt paper. It doesn't matter which one you use. He's actually weak to both of these, so you feel free to use either of these, whichever you have in your inventory. And then crank out a beast blood pellet. Now, as I've stated in several videos before, I usually do not advocate using a beast blood pellet for boss fights for people who are having trouble defeating a boss, because this item causes you to take more damage in return. So if you have a problem dodging and you're taking a lot of hits, this item's actually going to make it even worse. But with this boss, there are actually a few blind spots you can get into to where he may not even hit you at all before you kill him. I'm going to do this video a little differently than I normally do just because it was so short. I'm going to talk about a few strategies for how to handle the situation, but then once I get to fighting the boss, I'm just going to let it play real time and let you see what happens. Once you make sure you have your bolt paper and your beast blood pellet equipped, you enter the boss arena. A cutscene will play and then the actual fight will start. Pretty easy to find this information on the internet, but if for whatever reason you didn't know, you need to kill the bell ringers before you start fighting the actual boss. You can ignore them if you want to, but they're just going to cause it to be more difficult and give you more problems. So if you are actually having difficulties defeating the boss, then there's no reason you should be trying to do it the harder way. Go to the opposite end of the room from where you start the fight. Make your way up through one of the stairwells and take out all the bell ringers. There will be 3 on each side, equaling to 6 in total. Once you do this, make your way back down a stairwell, go ahead and consume a beast blood pellet and whichever paper that you had equipped, and then get ready to fight the boss. Now, this is where I'm just going to let the video play real time, but before I do it, there's just a few things you need to know. There are a few blind spots that this boss has. It's kind of hard to tell his front from his backside, but basically there's this flat goop little area that you can get into, and there's a blind spot of his that he can't really do a whole lot. And then the backside of this boss is a pretty big blind spot as well, because he'll have to turn all the way around in order to hit you. This is not 100% blind. He does have some aerial attacks he can hit you with, and there is one slam attack that can almost one-shot you depending on how much health you have. So this is not 100% foolproof. It's going to depend on a little bit of luck. But as long as you can survive that, you'll pretty much dominate this boss. It's also worth noting that this boss does have an acid attack that will fill an acid puddle all the way around him. When this happens, you need to get the heck out of dodge. Do not try to fight through it. It will kill you very quickly. Wanted to go ahead and point that out now because it doesn't happen on this playthrough, so you're not going to see it. Once I go in, I just get all the way behind him and just knock him down, and I just keep wailing on him. The boss is actually in a visceral state when I hit him, but since I'm behind him, it's creating issues, and it never just really gets turned around. I keep attacking, and the power of the beast blood pellet is actually pushing me through some of the boss's stages because it's stacking and I'm not getting interrupted, so I'm having the chance to just keep gaining that bar on that beast blood pellet, and it starts doing absurd amounts of damage to where it just kills the boss really quickly, and there just really wasn't anything he could do about it. I did not even use a single blood vial. I don't even think I got hit a single time by the boss itself. That's really it for this boss. I know this exact situation is not going to happen with your playthrough most likely. It seemed like a very cheesed out kind of thing. But in the other times I fought him where it wasn't this easy, it was still very similar in the fact that he really couldn't touch me. I was just making sure just to kind of loop around him and stay in whatever blind spot I was going for. Just pay attention to your surroundings and then keep using your fire or bolt paper in conjunction with the beast blood pellet, and you'll just have no problems taking down the One Reborn. That's it for today, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe for anything about anything. I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And make sure to stay tuned for our next episode, which is going to be Micklash, another one of Bloodborne's puzzle bosses. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time.